So when you have to book hotels, I assume that's because a client contacts you for an in-call, and then once the booking feels secure, you get that $200 or $300 deposit, you go and book a hotel to meet at.
Yes,
Which
exactly.
one and what location do you typically use?
I usually book one close to my place where it's like Surrey Hills in this case, which is close to me. Sometimes Potts Point. Um, if you want like specific hotels, do you want me to say those as well?
No, no, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. But I book around my place, like Surrey Hills, Potts Point. That's usually my go-to because I'm in Bondi, so they're like close and close to the city in a way. And sometimes Mascot.
Okay. Do you find that you get many in-call inquiries?
Yeah, I do actually. I got to say a bit.
Okay. And do you tell the client that that's what you're doing? Like, do you let them know that you're booking a hotel and all that stuff? Or do you just kind of like take care of it in the background once the booking is confirmed?
It depends because sometimes if they're like, how can I say, so they might be like, oh, I want to see you now. Um, then I'll be like, oh, I used to say, oh, I'm going to organize a room, but unless let's say if it's a regular, they'll know that I'm going to organize a room. But if it's
Mm,
not, then I usually just say, oh, look, just give me a moment. I've got to organize it with my friend because like me and my friend share a room.
hmm.
Or I just say, I just got to get ready. So can you give me maybe like 30, 40 minutes? And I'm like, if you're happy to wait, then I can do that. If not, I understand because you probably want to, see someone ASAP. But I try to like make an excuse to delay the time so I can book the room and be there by like the time that I can say the room's going to be ready, which technically is just me booking the room and getting ready to quickly go there.
Yeah, that's smart. What made you decide to do it that way? Did something happen?
What do you mean, like how I think of it that way?
A lot of people I talk to, when they do it, when they're booking a place like you are, they'll
Mm,
tell clients or they'll even put it on their profile. I mean, usually my advice to them is exactly what you're doing. Like, don't tell the client, don't list it on your profile because the client perceives it as additional barriers, even if he doesn't have to do it or pay for it. Like, in his mind, that's just a potential issue that he now might have to deal with if you can't get a room, that sort of stuff. So it's smart how you're handling it. So I just wonder if you're doing that because you kind of realize that. Like, did you kind of realize that clients were being like, oh, that's fine, I'll just find somebody else? Or, like, yeah, what happened to make you think of communicating it that way?
yeah, I think just over time I picked up on that people like there's a big saying that I'm a big believer in. In Spanish it says or just translated it says he who explains himself complicates himself. So I just like to keep it simple and say, look, yeah, I am available. I'm just gonna get ready. Even if I'm available now, I'll just be like, oh, sorry, I just got distracted a little bit. I just got to get ready, but I'm already ready, so it won't take me long. Um, just give me a minute. Or the room's messy, and I just got to organize it and freshen up.
Mm,
I'll
mm,
give up like little excuses to, like I said, to extend that time. But just over time, I came to realize that I just didn't need to explain what exactly I was doing. Like, they don't want to know that kind of stuff. They just want to know when you're going to go see them or when they can come, if that makes sense.
yeah, that makes total
Yeah.
sense. I love that Spanish saying. It's like the motto that I'm constantly preaching. We always feel like we have to over explain ourselves, don't we? But it's just so not necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, cool. Okay. And you're typically okay to absorb the fee. I know I remember when we last spoke, you said you tended to get a lot of PSC bookings. So if you're charging
Yeah.
1,200 and upwards, you just take in the in-call fee.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Have you ever checked out not having an in-call full time, but platforms like dayuse.com where you can book stuff for kind of a few hours? Or I know that you've had some negative experiences with escorts in the past, but just
Mhm.
in terms of like bringing costs down, stuff like getting to know other escorts in the industry, and I can talk about how to do that in a non-threatening way to basically use their in-call. There are a lot of girls, particularly in Sydney, who are carrying the cost of a full-time in-call on their own. And there's a few girls in the group that have done it and they've posted about it. If you text like 20 or 30 girls in Sydney advertising in-call and say to them, hey, I'm a fellow escort, like you can send your profile. I'm looking for an in-call to rent by the hour. Typically you'll talk to them on the phone or something. You'll often find people who have like an in-call set up and ready to go that will rent it to you for like 100, maybe less an hour. So just something to think about when it comes to like money management sort of stuff, so that you're not always having to shell out like $300 for a room.
Yeah, that's a good point. I used to know a couple of girls that did, that I was connected through to them, but just disappeared over time. So then I just started booking my own rooms. But like there are a couple of groups on the they're just never available anymore. Like it just doesn't coincide. Whereas, for example, when I had one or two of those girls, if I messaged them, they'll be like, yeah, it's available. I'll just go pick up the keys. You know, it's just ready to go for me. Whereas now it's like, I don't even know if someone will be there. So it's just more about having those contacts.
What's good is that because your rate is so high, you can usually justify it. You know, if I work with girls where they maybe charge you like $600 an hour initially, like they really struggle with paying for the apartment fee. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. That is the thing about the industry, right? Like girls come and go so much. There's a lot of people who aren't that organized. So one of the girls in the group, I think she ended up with like 3 or 4 different Sydney escorts who are willing to do that. And then she'd have to rotate between them. Like, you know, no matter which option we choose, there's going to be pros and cons. If the cost becomes a complication, that's certainly something to look at. But yeah, you trade the cost factor sometimes for organizational issues or reliability with girls.
Yeah, exactly.
So how long does it take you usually to be ready for a short notice booking? Like when you're available all weekend and a client texts you and says, hey, I want to meet now, what's your usual turnaround time to actually meet with him, provided he's pretty straightforward in doing the booking process?
Usually like probably tops 40 minutes, but if they're close by, I could be there in about 30 minutes. Like if I wasn't ready, it'll take me about 15 minutes to get ready. Like my hair always like dries really quickly, and then I just put like foundation on, and I'll like drive in the car and put my mascara on or something. So I'm like ready. But if I just got out of bed and I need to wash my hair, then it'll take a little bit longer. But like genuinely at the tops 40 minutes to an hour.
Okay. All right.
If you want to learn more escorting tips, just click the link below this video.